Imagine this. You spend years raising your only son, sacrificing everything to give him the best life. You pay for his dream wedding, sparing no expense. And then, on the big day, his bride looks you straight in the eye and tells you to leave. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. But instead of walking away quietly, I made a decision that ruined her fairy tale wedding overnight. And trust me, she regretted it immediately. My name is Linda, and I never imagined that the happiest day of my son's life would turn into one of the most humiliating experiences of mine. But what his bride did to me at their wedding, well, let's just say she learned very quickly that disrespecting me was the worst mistake she could have made. I'm a single mom. My husband passed away when my son, Mark, was only 12 years old. Since then, it's just been the two of us. I worked 2 jobs for years to keep food on the table and to make sure Mark never missed out on anything his friends had. I was determined that my son would grow up knowing he was loved and cared for, even if it meant I had to sacrifice everything. When Mark got into college, I was so proud. I took out loans and worked overtime to cover what scholarships didn't. Watching him walk across that graduation stage was one of the proudest moments of my life. A couple of years later, he met a girl named Vanessa. She was beautiful, ambitious, and seemed to adore my son. At first, I was happy for him. He deserved love, but over time, I noticed little things about her. Snide comments, subtle eye rolls when I spoke, and a coldness in her tone when she addressed me. I brushed it off, thinking maybe she just needed time to warm up to me. Then came the engagement. Mark called me one night, his voice bubbling with excitement. "Mom, I proposed to Vanessa." She said yes. Of course, I congratulated him, hugged him through the phone, and told him how happy I was. But deep down, I felt uneasy. Something about Vanessa didn't sit right with me. Despite my doubts, I threw myself into helping with the wedding. After all, Mark was my only child, and I wanted his big day to be perfect. I offered to pay for most of it: venue, catering, flowers, even part of the honeymoon. Vanessa seemed thrilled at first, but soon she started treating me more like her personal assistant than her future mother-in-law. She would text me at all hours with demands. "Linda, can you call the florist again? I don't like the shade of roses they suggested. Linda, the cake isn't big enough. Upgrade it to 5 tiers. You're paying, right? Linda, I don't want you wearing blue at the wedding. It clashes with my theme." It was endless. Still, I bit my tongue. I told myself it was just wedding stress. And once everything was over, things would calm down. But I had no idea what was coming. The big day arrived. The venue was stunning. An elegant ballroom draped in white and gold, with chandeliers that sparkled like stars. Guests filled the seats, buzzing with excitement. I wore a simple but elegant navy blue dress, despite Vanessa's suggestions. It was modest, appropriate, and something I felt beautiful in. As the ceremony began, I sat in the front row, tears already pricking my eyes as I watched my son, my baby boy, standing tall and handsome at the altar. Then the music swelled, and Vanessa walked down the aisle in her glittering white gown. She was radiant, I'll admit. For a moment, even I believed everything might be okay. But after the vows and the kiss, things changed. At the reception, while everyone was laughing, dancing, and celebrating, Vanessa approached me. Her face was tight, her voice cold. "Linda," she hissed, "I need you to leave." I blinked, stunned. "What? Why?" "This is our day. You're making things uncomfortable. Honestly, you've been hovering too much." I don't want you here. So please, leave. The words hit me like a slap across the face. My own son's bride was kicking me out of his wedding? I looked around, hoping Mark had heard, but he was across the room talking with guests. No one else seemed to notice. I swallowed hard, tears burning in my eyes. I wanted to argue, to stand my ground, but I didn't want to cause a scene and ruin Mark's wedding. So I simply nodded, gathered my purse, and quietly walked out. I sat in my car in the parking lot, humiliated, hurt, and furious. But as the minutes passed, something inside me shifted. I remembered every demand, every insult, every moment Vanessa had treated me like garbage. And now, she had the audacity to kick me out of the very wedding I paid for? That's when it hit me. She had no idea. No idea that every payment for the wedding was in my name. The venue, the catering, the flowers, the DJ, all of it. And the final payments? They were scheduled to process the next business day. With shaking hands, I pulled out my phone and made a series of calls. One by one, I cancelled everything. The catering company? I told them to hold off on charging my card. The florist? I cancelled the balance. The DJ? Cancelled. The venue? I stopped the final payment. Within an hour, everything Vanessa thought was locked in was up in the air. I sat back in my car, a grim satisfaction settling over me. If she didn't want me at the wedding, then she certainly didn't deserve the wedding I paid for. The next morning, my phone exploded with calls. Mark called first, his voice panicked. "Mom, the venue says the payment didn't go through. They're threatening legal action." The caterer cancelled the bill, and the florist said they're not delivering the rest of the flowers. What's going on? I took a deep breath. Mark, I cancelled everything. There was silence. Then, what? Why would you do that? My voice shook, but I spoke firmly. Because your wife told me to leave your wedding. After everything I did, after paying for nearly the entire thing, she humiliated me. If she doesn't want me there, then she doesn't get my money either. He was speechless. Eventually he muttered, I need to call you back. Later, I heard from mutual relatives what happened. The venue demanded immediate payment, and since the final balance wasn't covered, they charged Vanessa's parents instead. The caterer refused to serve the honeymoon brunch because the bill wasn't cleared. The florist withheld half the arrangements, and the DJ blasted everyone with an invoice Vanessa hadn't expected to pay. Vanessa threw a fit. She screamed at Mark, at her parents, even at guests. The fairy tale wedding she had bragged about turned into a nightmare overnight. For weeks, the drama continued. Vanessa's family accused me of being vindictive, but many of my relatives took my side. She kicked you out of your own son's wedding? She got what she deserved, they said. Mark eventually came to see me, his eyes heavy with guilt. Mom, I'm so sorry, he whispered. I had no idea she said that to you. I never would have let her if I knew I sighed, tears in my eyes. Mark, I love you, but you need to understand, I won't let anyone, not even your wife, treat me with that kind of disrespect. He nodded slowly. I could see the wheels turning in his head, the doubt in his eyes about the woman he had married. Months later, I heard through the grapevine that their marriage was already on the rocks. Vanessa's temper, her entitlement, and her obsession with appearances were causing daily fights. And deep down, I wasn't surprised. Looking back, I don't regret what I did. It wasn't about the money. It was about respect. I raised my son with love, sacrifice, and dedication. I poured my heart into making his wedding special, only to be thrown aside like I was nothing. Vanessa thought she could humiliate me and get away with it. But she learned the hard way that actions have consequences. And as for me, I learned something too. Never let anyone devalue your worth, no matter who they are. Because sometimes walking away isn't enough. Sometimes you have to remind people exactly who they're dealing with. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned, because more amazing stories are on the way.